So the next, I ask about if they're a knight, how do they run their line? And this is something for me as a new knight that I am always incredibly interested in. I love seeing how different knights have different perspectives on how to run their beltline. Some go really wide and some don't. Some only have one squire at a time. And what the purpose of man-at-arms and pages are differs from knight to knight. And I'm always very interested in how other knights run their beltlines. Because my knight, I was his only squire, and then he was the only squire of his knight. And so my grand knight, I guess, was the fount of our line. And so there really our belt line isn't huge. And so I look at, Alona's, or I look at Michael's, or I look at some of these more prolific people in our game that have 50 people in their belt line, and it fascinates me. It's something that I'm not used to. And so I always ask about that. So how do I run my line? I'm a bit more structured than most. I run on kind of a tier system with some internal incentives. So if you are in my belt line, I have put the color of belt that you have on is directly equivalent to your highest award in the belt that you are pursuing, or the masterhood that you are pursuing. So for instance, if you are a page, I have one page right now, relatively new player. He's just getting into everything and want to try and encourage and help him out as much as I can. Page is 1 to 3. And so if you have an order of the war or order of whatever, if you're trying to be a sword knight, order of the warrior, if you're roses, really from 1 to 3, you don't know what you want to do. So just do a little bit of everything. You're going to be a page belt in my line. But once you hit 4, and it's 4 through 6 is man-at-arms, woman-at-arms, whatever title you would prefer. And then you get the black and gray. And that provides for a little bit of internal motivation to push for the awards, to enter tournaments, because that's a big thing for me. And then once you hit 7 and above, you get a red belt. I run a little different in that I want my squires to take their own underbelts. And when my squires graduate, those underbelts go with them. I know some belt lines do it a little differently, but I encourage, like for me, I had 2 man-at-arms underneath me. And when I became a knight, those 2 became my squires. And so I think an important part of any belt line is the mentorship and the friendship that is involved there. And so as a squire, they're going to be getting poured into from me, their knight, but I also want them to practice teaching and practice pouring into someone else as well. And so not only are they getting, poured into from above, I want them to be pouring into the next people below them, their own at-arms or their own pages, whichever they would prefer. And then ideally, when they graduate, they will take those people with them. And so my belt line is a little different in that way. I don't have a limit on how many squires I take. It's going to be whenever I get there, I guess I'll know. Currently I have 2, and I think that's plenty, but I could take 1 or 2 more if I wanted to. I just haven't found the right relationship there. For me, masterhood is a goal for all of my squires. If masterhood is not a goal, I don't want to give you a red belt. I know some knights have, forever squires or friend squires. I'm not particularly interested in that. I don't care if you don't want to be a knight. That doesn't bother me. But I want you to be good at the game. I want, if you have a red belt from me, it is signifying that if you're going to be in the gray line, that you're pushing for masterhood, in one way or another. And the knighthood part of that doesn't bother me too much. If you don't want to be a knight, that's cool. But I want my people to be pushing excellence in the game and ideally competing in some form or another. And 3